you, Derek, to just say your name, uh, who you are.
Your name, who you are.
Good job.
December 28th, 2023. Like I said, this is Derek Smith. It's my son Marcus Smith, 18 years old. Um, we got an invite from a good friend just to sit down, chop it up, see what father and sons talk about, what the conversation is like. And like I told Chris, it's kind of funny. It can be 5 minutes long, depending on the situation, or it can be 55 minutes long. So, um, but one thing I wanted to kick it off with was one, I'm proud of you, Marcus. Um, kind of a kind of a process guy. I like to see things from the beginning all the way through to the end of fruition. So, um, one way to do that is, of course, me and your mom having you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was there from from the jump. You know, I used to tell you I used to carry you around the house like a football. Um, so it's cool just seeing the whole thing play out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so um, but um, one thing I was going to ask you is, and I think I know the answer to it, but I'm not sure. If I've taught you anything, or if anything is stuck from your 18 years of me being your father, what has stuck, or what is something that I've taught you that you can put in your pocket and take with you? Something that you might have referred to if you needed to.
Just to take pride in everything that I do, anything that I try to do, make sure that I do it to the best of my ability and as good as I know how to.
Okay. Okay. Do you find that easier said than done, or has that have you been able to do that most of the time, or more times than not, or?
For me, I say it's harder just because of my personality. Like I just like to get something done as quickly as I can,
Mm-hmm.
just to like turn. Especially when it comes to my schoolwork, I'll just do what I can and know that I can get a decent grade on it and just turn it in. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times, it is easier said than done. But I still have showed myself that I can do it. It's just not consistent yet.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, man? I'm glad you said that word consistency. Um, one thing I wanted to talk to you about while you were here was part of part of being a man is being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have to build up a consistency to know that whenever somebody's dealing with Marcus Winston Smith, they know what they're gonna get. Okay, and that's part of being a man. You know, being a man is a tool belt. It's got a whole bunch of stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency, appearance, um, just your integrity. But you talk about consistency. Being a man, people have to know what they can get from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my buddies that I've grown up with, Coach Chris, our twin cousins, Dr. Aaron, you have to develop some kind of consistency as a man. So whenever somebody's going into like a business venture, or going to a basketball game with you, or whatever, they need to be able to know what they're going to get from Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when I say that, you can't be shysty, you can't be two-faced. You know, say what you mean what you say, and just be consistent. Like, hopefully, your buddies that you've been running with for a couple years, they could probably answer this. So if I put each and every one of them in a room and say, "Tell me about Marcus," what they say, it should be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Prayerfully, it's all good and positive. You know what I'm saying? Those are your guys. Um, they probably know you better than anybody else. But one part of becoming a man, like I said, you're a young man.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's still stuff that's going to happen, good, bad, or indifferent. Me, I'm just pretty much right now, you being 18, 19 in June, I'm more of a consultant. I was hands-on that first 18 years. You know what I'm saying? So the same way that you go through phases as a young man, me and your mom, we go through phases. We should go through phases as parents. So hopefully, hopefully you're seeing a little bit of that. Like I said, you're still 18 going on 19, so it's certain things that you don't see. But going back to that being consistent, they should be able to say the same thing about you. You should be consistent. You shouldn't be two-faced. People need to know what they're going to get from you. You know what I'm saying? So prayerfully, my job is being a black man raising a young black man, make sure you're consistent in a positive way. Being, integrity, being intelligent, well-spoken, kind of being not a jack of all trades, but being able to adjust and adapt to any situation while keeping a level head. So, like I said, that was something I was going to talk to him about before he went back to Atlanta. Be consistent. You're a freshman in college, so right now you're building your consistency now. Even meeting cats from other places, they need to know what they're going to get from Marcus. They need to know, hey, Marcus, he's about his bucks. He can kick it. He does or doesn't drink or smoke or whatever. He likes this type of young lady. Right now, this is where you build your consistency. While you're in college, late teens going into your early 20s. Just like cats I hang out with and cats I was born and raised with. They could probably tell you more about me than, there will be a good accountability person as far as, okay, well, if I deal with, I got numerous nicknames. We're not going to go into that right now. But, dealing with, let's say, Smitty. That's my high school nickname. Dealing with Smitty, this is what you're going to get. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So, that's important. Think about that. Right now you need to build your consistency up. Build your foundation of what kind of man Marcus is going to be. And, that's all dependent on you. When people talk about Marcus, I say, when people write their life stories, when they get to the chapter about you, what are they going to say? How's it going to play out? How's it going to read? So, that, again, that's something I want to talk to you about. And, I'm glad you, brought that up, consistency. So, work on it. Like I said, don't be afraid to succeed. When me, you, and your mom was out eating, you laid a challenge to yourself on the table. You remember what that was?
Try to get 4.0.
Yeah, shit, do it. But I mean, why not? Why not? But yeah, and what Marcus said, I used to coach him in basketball when he was little, and I used to always tell the team, take pride in everything you do, whether it be your penmanship with your homework, making your bed, cleaning your room, of course your athletics. Take pride in every single thing you do, no matter what it is, because that's going to build that consistency we were talking about. And you don't want to leave anything on the table. Playing sports or whatever, you want to get out there and maximize your potential, and don't be afraid to succeed. Press play and make it happen. That being said, what did you learn being away from me and your mom since August?
That a lot of stuff comes quickly when you get older, especially when you get to college. It's like a lot of thinking and sitting down by yourself, trying to wonder like what you're gonna do with the next couple of steps in your life. And it's just like a realization point that eventually it's just gonna be you out in the world, and whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Well said. Another thing I noticed your picture in your phone, and this is something I told a group of kids a couple years ago, is to find a baby picture or a picture of yourself when you were little. And you have a picture like that on your phone, don't you?
Yeah, it's my lock screen.
Yeah, so I told Marcus, look at that picture of him. He was probably what, shoot, 2-ish, something like that. And I asked him, what kind of life would you want for that 2-year-old kid in that picture? And you're, like I said, you're at the point now to where you can control and mold that. So look at that 2-year-old Marcus and decide, what kind of life do you want for this little kid, for this little guy? Do you want him to be mediocre or just get by, or do you want him to excel and achieve and go above and beyond? Because like I've been telling you, you got it in you. I might have told somebody, I can't wait for the day that you say, Dad, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm striving for. And you just show that, for lack of a better word, let it consume you. But, find what you want to do. Because like I said, me as a father, my job, I'm an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
You the quarterback. You call your play, Dad, this is what I want to do. Okay, bet. My job is to make sure that I provide you every opportunity to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm here. That's kind of that consultant phase. I'm not holding your hand, feeding you. We did all that stuff before. You 18 now. You know what I'm saying? So my job is to get your play, whatever play you want to run, bet that. My job is to block, open that hole, provide you that opportunity for you to go do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, you want to get into the real estate game and, be an entrepreneur. Okay, that's cool. Well, let's go to Morehouse. Let's get a college degree in business and let's see where it takes us. Mm-hmm. So that's my job as a father, to provide that opportunity for you. So that's where we're at now. So, like I said, I'm a consultant, offensive lineman. You call the play, and it's up to me and your mom to provide opportunities for you. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Real quick, compare, to the best of your ability. You did 18 years here, Kansas City. Mm. And you was only able to do a few months in Atlanta. Compare and contrast the two. Kansas City, like I say, you were able to get your car, and me and your mom kind of gave you a little freedom and stuff like that. So compare Kansas City to Atlanta, and do you think Atlanta is a place that you might want to live one day?
Atlanta's like a more fast-paced Kansas City and like bigger, more population and stuff, but I can find similarities down there that I can up here, so it's not a crazy difference. Mm-hmm. And the freedom part, like I had a decent amount of freedom here, so going down there is not really that much of a difference either. It's just that it's completely in my hands now. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it didn't really change too much. And yeah, I can see myself living in Atlanta. Like in the next couple of years, if I have to get an apartment off campus, I can see myself actually staying there and getting into a groove when I actually graduate from college and finding this place down there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you think Atlanta would be a spot you might want to stay and live and post up?
At least for the first couple of years after I graduate.
Okay. One thing that I was not able to do with your grandpa, your grandpa wasn't a church-going guy. Mm. He actually went to church when he was younger, but now I have to get with him. I mean, something happened somewhere. I don't know if it was when he was a teenager or when he went to Vietnam, but your papa don't do church. And the cool thing about the blessing I had growing up with a father in the house is I saw him get up every day, saw him go to work. Manliness, fidelity, I was able to see that every single day. How has me trying to instill religion, like I said, I'm a Baptist church deacon, but how has religion played a part in your life? Because I was able to go there with you which is different for me because me and my dad never set up in church. You know, so I never saw my father go to church. That wasn't what he did. So, what part did religion kind of play in your upbringing, and how was that kind of having your dad there as an example, preferably a good example? But what role did religion play in your life up until now? You being 18, going on 19.
Well, I've always grown up in the church, of course, going to church since I was young, born into like same church, all that. So I've been introduced to the idea of Christianity and the fact that God is real and stuff like that since I was a young child. And so it's just something that I got introduced to early. So now that I'm at 18 years old, I can start implementing some of that stuff into my own life. Because I personally kind of believe that if you want to get good with God and Christianity, it's solely on you. Can't have somebody take you to church and do it that way because they can only do so much. You can go to church and still not really have a relationship with God.
That's true.
So I see seeing you go to church growing up and you was a deacon, like since I was pretty young. I kind of remember like when you started becoming a deacon. But seeing you have a relationship and then the life that you lead to is a good little image that I can have to help try to mold my life into, like having a life of God as a young man, especially when I'm finna start this different chapter in my life. And I know it's probably gonna be probably the funnest part of my life, but also the most challenging as well, because it's gonna be a lot of thinking, a lot of ups and downs, and wondering what's gonna be next. So I feel like having God next to you during all that little stuff is just gonna make it a lot easier and take a lot of that anxiety and worrying off of my chest and off my shoulders. So the little building blocks and being instilled into a church at a young age and knowing like even if you are like, see, I can say that I had a decent relationship with God, but it wasn't nothing crazy, and I want to change that going into the next year. Especially now that I realize that you can't really do stuff like this by your own. And it's like it's a lot harder than it looks, especially when you get there, because college looks fun from the outside looking in. You think about all the parties, being there, having fun off on your own, but there's still a lot of thinking aside from all the fun, because you still it's all the papers that you gotta get done. You thinking about money, stuff like that, how you want to make money, how you gonna instill these next couple of lives, because the college is like the building blocks of what your life is gonna be, especially when you get a major. And when you get that degree, that's kind of what sets you up for your success in life. So having all that being said, it's just needing another support, because you can call your parents whenever you want to, but like God is like always with you regardless. So it's always easy to pray, read a Bible, just because every time I pray, it like helps me, it calms me down, especially like when I'm thinking about something too much. It just eases my worries and everything just right away. So I feel like being introduced to Christianity and going to a church at a young age and seeing how you use God in your life, I feel like it's just a good image for me to look at so that I can try to do it myself and just help me in life.
Good. No, like I said, I'm me and your mom gonna always be here. Well, I mean, as much as we can, but God's gonna be that common denominator. That's what we've been trying to teach you. So if something pops off and I can't get to the phone, or your mom can't get to the phone, God always picks up his phone. So he's the creator and the master of all this. So he needs to be the first one you call and put me a close second. Put me a close second. Just one thing, just kind of off book. Just having you, I made it a point to always be in a mental and physical state to where I can help you. So that means, I haven't drunk anything since 2004. I know you know that story. I stopped smoking when me and your mom got married. Just my little Black and Milds or whatever. I blew a little smoke back in college back in my day, but But one thing when we had you, I made it a point to, as long as you're alive and breathing, to always be in a mental and physical state to where if you called, I'd be there to pick up the phone and help you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably, well, 1A, I don't like the feeling of being drunk and hungover, so I did that one too many times. On my birthday, 2004, went too hard, got sick, said, okay, I'm done with this. But reason 1A or 1B is because I need to make sure that I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
To, if your car breaks down or you need to rap or talk about something or whatever the case may be, just to be a positive example of a black man, you know, if you want to go there. That's why I always try to stay clean, sober, no drinking, no drugging, is because I have to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be a positive example to you if I'm always high or if I'm always drunk. You know, I have to set an example and be a foundation and a resource for you. Okay, so again, that goes with, you know, the consistency that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hopefully, you know, you take that, put that in your tool belt, and use that when you need to use it.
Easy for you to stop drinking and smoking?
It was, and that's just by the grace of God. Because I mean, like me and your mom told you, addiction runs in both sides of our family.
Mm-hmm.
On my side and your mom's side. So that's why, you know, of course, we had that chit chat with you. You know, be careful with what you want to try or whatever, because addiction is prevalent on both sides of our family. But prayerfully and luckily, I was just able to stop cold turkey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, that's all God. You know, and again, you know, it goes with your mental. You know, I try to pride myself on being a fairly strong mental person. So one thing that you will learn about your father, me, is that when I set my mind to something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if I bring God along with me, that shit's gonna get done. You know, it may not be the time frame that I originally would expect or whatever, but it's gonna get done.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, same thing. Hey, I'm sick, I'm Erling, drunk too much, I don't want to feel this way no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop drinking. I stopped. You know, and you know your mom has kind of asthmatic problems, and shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I do too. So, you know, and when you smoke, that crap gets on your clothes, and you know, you take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I didn't want that around my house with your mom, you know, giving her respiratory issues. So I just stopped. Like I literally stopped. It was probably, we got married in June 20, 2002. So I probably hadn't smoked nothing since April or May of 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was May because we bought our house. We bought our first house May 2022 before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, I'll get at the God, but no, I just made my mind up to stop. You know, I'm done. But yeah, so you know, be mindful of that type of stuff, man. I grew up playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Played a little baseball. You started off playing a little bit of everything, but we tried to get you into basketball.
Mm-hmm.
When did you realize, and you turn out to, you know, God willing, and you know, with Coach Chris's help, you turn out to be a hell of a baseball player. Me and your mom was proud of you, and that's dope. And that's something you can always look back on. What kind of lessons, or what did team sports, growing up playing team sports, what kind of tools, positive, negative, or indifferent, what kind of tools did that give you to where you are now? Like what part did team sports play in the markets that I'm sitting next to now?
it instilled in me that if you want to be good at something, you have to have a decent work ethic. Like even though I didn't finish playing basketball, if I wanted to like be good at it and still be decent at it, you gotta go to practice. You gotta go to workouts and like practicing, not just practicing like with a team or with a group. So like when you go to work, you do a project. That's not just with your team or your group. You still gotta go outside, go home and work on a project, work on yourself when you're outside of practice and away from your team. And I realized that when it comes to sports, especially like baseball and basketball. Basketball, we still lived in Lee Summit and we had our goal in the backyard. So go up there, get shots and stuff. And then with baseball, we live down the street, across the street from the Urban Youth Academy. So every once in a while, go get some swings and use the facilities, like just get working on your own time. And that's probably what I learned the most about sports and like the little team bonding and stuff because I got real close with my baseball teammates. When I played basketball, I was cool with my basketball teammates. So it's just it's like the relationship that you build along the way can like always help you and just to keep the people close that you need to keep close because you can always call on somebody later or vice versa. Somebody might need to call on you. So stuff like that.
How did you feel? Because how did you feel with your dad always being your coach? I mean, what was that good, bad? Was you cool with it, or because some kids play sports their whole life, but their dad never is their coach. So how did you feel with your dad always, pretty much always being your coach, whether it was hoop and like for baseball, was helping out with the stats and just being an assistant? How'd that feel, always having your dad there or having your dad be your coach?
Well, it's like it was a good thing because as a coach, you always know what a player needs to do to get better. And you being my dad, you at home, so it's easy. It's easy to relay that message because I'm gonna see you almost every day, if not every day already, at practice and just at home. So it's easy to you see what I'm struggling in. I probably already know it too, so we can just get that fixed real quick. And it's just another way to build a relationship with your fathers too. Because outside of sports, we used to do stuff together, but like outside of a lot of our memories we did a lot with basketball and baseball growing up. So it's just another way to build a good relationship with your father.
Um, how was I able to, in the midst of all that, did you get too much coach and not enough dad, or vice versa? Or because I tried to pride myself into knowing when to cut it off. Like, okay, be coach now, but now we're at the crib, so you got to be dad. Did you ever think I was being too much coach, not enough dad, or vice versa? Or how was I as far as doing the balance?
No, it was fun for me because you would tell me what I needed to do, and like, because I would always ask you after a game like how I did, so you would let me know like what I could have worked on, but you also were able to like give me my flowers when I did something good. So it was a good balance there.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. Just real quick, the benefit, not all, and then we'll kind of parlay this into another subject, but not all young men are able to grow up with a father that's hands-on and in the house. Okay, we all know that. Me, I was blessed with growing up with your papa, and I was actually I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. I was able to grow up with your papa, my dad, and Grandpa Watson, Grammy's dad, and I did deal with and see Grandpa Smith, Papa's dad. Granted, Papa Smith was out, I'm not gonna say hustling because he wasn't a hustler like that, but excuse me, he played a lot of golf. He owned a little spot down on 21st, 22nd and Vine. So he was busy doing a lot, and plus he had 11 kids of his own, plus 10,000 grandkids. But I was really hands on with Grandpa Watson. That's where you got your middle name from, Winston. So I was able to see between Grandpa Smith, Grandpa Watson, your papa or my dad
Mm-hmm.
on just kind of how a man moves, some of the habits that they pick up. And I was also able to pick and choose what traits I wanted to take from your papa. Like I said, your papa, he, you know, my dad, he'll get to 100 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you ever seen your papa at 100 because, you know, he's a little bit older now, but your papa will get to 100 real quick. And I think that's probably a trait that he might have got from Grandpa Smith. You know, your your great grandpa Watson, my grandpa Watson, he was a deacon. He was a Baptist church deacon as well. So that's 100%. And I spent a lot of time with him. That's 100% why I went to Pastor Butler and told him I think God put it on my heart to be a deacon. Mm. Your Papa Smith, my dad, he didn't do a lot of heart to heart. We didn't really sit down and chop it up about a lot of in-depth type stuff. You know, he never told me he loved me face to face, but I knew he did by him waking up, going to work every morning, him providing, you know, he was my coach growing up. Same way I was your coach. He was my coach. So he wasn't more physically affectionate like that, but he spent hella time with me growing up. And even my buddies, your Uncle BT, your Uncle Gerard, Terrence, your papa had a station wagon. And he put all the kids in the station wagon and we just go. We go to the fun factory, swap and shop on Saturdays. You know, me and your cousin Aaron and Uncle Alex grew up in the field house. So what he might not have did with one-on-one, hey, let's sit down and chop it up, he did with spending time. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, we never sat down and talked about women. We never sat down and talked about finances. We never, you know, had the little sex talk. Nothing like that. When me, you, and your mom, or me and you chopped it up, talked about sex, talked about, you know, you engaging in the opposite sex. One thing, I guess, one question, did it help? Was it applicable? Or is there anything that, damn, Pop, I wish you would have told me about whoop-de-whoop-de-woo? You know, because like I said, I didn't get that talk growing up. You know, your papa didn't sit down and talk to me about the birds and the bees. So that was new territory for me. And like I said, I tried to take the good, bad, and indifferent, mold it into my own fatherhood journey, and give you the best with what I knew how to give you. So without scaring the public too much, how did me and your mom do? How did I do? Did we leave out anything? What did you have to learn on the fly as far as, we'll call it, dealing with the opposite sex?
A lot of that stuff that y'all showed me, like I probably already knew before you actually said. So, like all I would have said was like, y'all could have just been more open about it and just said it sooner.
Okay.
Like, y'all didn't say nothing like that. Was all like information, like useful and everything. It's just like some things I just figured out already.
Okay. I mean, you know, like I said, some stuff you learn on the street, on the fly, and shoot. Okay, so I guess my question, keep it safe. When did? Okay, you see a little something over there. Oh, yeah. All right, be careful. How old were you? When did it? Like, okay, yeah.
Like when did it happen?
No. Nope.
Like, when did I get introduced to that?
Yeah, when did you be like, that right, whatever Marcus does.
Probably
Yeah.
like 14 or 15, but it didn't happen till it. Like, it didn't happen then, but that's probably when, like, that side of my brain
That
just,
like okay,
yeah.
yeah, that got up and running and about 14,
Yeah,
15.
when you start understanding everything. That's probably when I started understanding, like, the basics and everything, but it
Okay.
didn't happen. It didn't happen then, though.
No, it was hilarious because my wife, God bless her, you know, you see the difference between, and we'll get into that in a minute too. That's something I want to talk to you about. Because I remember exactly when it was. I was cutting your hair, and
Oh, yeah, I remember.
yeah, and my wife loved her to death. But women, they want information and they want it now. She got to talking, and the subject of you being a virgin came up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think my wife asked, "Well, are you still a virgin?" And you was just like, "No." And I ain't gonna lie, I was actually pretty proud of both of us. You know me, I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, so don't too much get to me. So, but I was actually very proud of your mom
Yeah.
by not throwing you out the window or jumping out the window herself.
Yeah, me too.
Because she was just like,
Because then from there, it's just like she's not going to react from that point on either.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
initial reaction is what, like, put the
So
foundation
what?
down.
So in your mind, when your mother asked you that, what was going through your mind? Was you just like, okay, now's a good time to go ahead and tell her, or, I mean, because you could have lied.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
glad you didn't, and I'm glad you didn't, because one thing me and your mom always tried to do was keep the door open for communication.
mm,
Because, like I said, at the end of the day, me and your mom will tell you where to hide the bodies. We told you we're gonna ride for you regardless. So,
mm,
what? So what was? Oh yeah, what was going through your head when that night at the apartment at the crib?
I mean, that's one of the things she just asked the question, so I gave her the answer.
Yeah, yeah, you
I'm one of
did.
those people who, like, don't ask a question you don't know the answer to.
No, hey, I get it. I get it. No, that's like I said, man. That's part of building that consistency. It goes back to that consistency as a man.
Yeah, and I'm very blunt. The only thing was going through my head, I just didn't want her to ask for no details or nothing.
Yeah, no, no,
Because
no.
she quick to ask for details after an answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. And and I'll tell you, Marcus, that part of me goes back to the relationship I had with your papa.
Mm,
I we never have sat down and talked about sex or women. Never.
mm,
So that I'm not gonna say that was a slippery slope for me talking to you because I'm gonna have a hand in everything you do in one way, shape, or form just because I'm your dad.
mm,
But I can choose how many layers I want to pull back. So um, so that part I definitely didn't want any details. So that's your business.
mm,
My job is to pray for your well-being and pray for your health and pray that you make good decisions. I give that to God.
mm.
The rest of that's between God and you. You know what I'm saying? Um, so nah, I definitely didn't want any details. That's not my business. But like I said, I know you and your mom might have had some conversations, but going back to co cohabiting with a female,
Mm.
what are what are some things that you've learned about relationships? Because some children don't come from a two-parent home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from your 18-year-old perspective, what have you learned about relationships, marriages, um, the difference between a woman's point of view versus a man's point of view? Peel back as much as you want to. Um, what have you learned as an 18-year-old young man growing up in a two-parent household about the dynamics of a man, woman, family. What do you have to speak on in that regards? I mean, do you see yourself married one day? You know.
Yeah, I see myself getting married because I don't think I would want to have like a baby mother. Cause I feel like if I have a baby with somebody, I want to settle. Like I would just make me have another emotional attachment to them.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I never been in a relationship, so like I can't speak too much on it. But what I have learned is like you can't force yourself into a relationship. You can't force something. You gotta let stuff happen naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go out looking for it and try to force it, it's gonna like you gonna end up trying to rush it too quickly with what could have been the right person,
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna try to make something that is not with somebody like else.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, what I have learned, like females are more emotional than males, and with a lot of relationships, you can tell that. Like I can tell, like when I'm just walking around the apartment, I can tell when mom is getting a little bit mad at you, like over little certain stuff. But I just keep it pushing because like that has nothing to do with me. Like that, what y'all got going on in y'all relationship has nothing to do with me
Right.
at all. Cause y'all both my parents at the end of the day. So whether y'all happy or mad at each other, that has nothing to do with me. I just keep it pushing.
Okay. That's fair.
I feel like with relationships and like good marriages, I feel like communication is key and stuff like just talking to each other, like talking your problems out instead of assuming what's going on or what's going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's best just to get it off your chest because at the end of the day, that's supposed to be a partner. So I mean, y'all should be able to talk to each other anyway.
Right.
But I don't got too much to say about relationships for real.
No, it's all good. And man, and as your father, see, and I'm glad you got your nucleus of guys that you're kicking with. I was always that dude that had the girlfriend.
Yeah, I ain't never been that one.
Yeah, and hey, man, and hey, I respect that, and I'm proud of you for it because at this point in your life, that's the last thing you need to be worrying about is maintaining a relationship with a female. That you got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of Marcus foundation to put together. So yeah, do not worry about that anytime soon. Work on Marcus. Get back to Morehouse, hit them books, network, have a good time. And I notice I'm pretty much thinking that, and I've seen you guys' crazy videos on your social media. Be honest and upfront. Because some of those young ladies out there are looking for something different, and it might not be what you're looking for. So establish that off the rip. Like, look, no, I'm not looking for nothing serious or whatever. So if that's your thing, if that's what you're seeking out, I'm not your guy. So one thing I try to always tell you is be honest with the little girls. So don't lead them on or try to run any games or any tricks. So I'm proud that you.
Takes a lot more effort to do it that way either.
Oh yeah, big time. So let's transition into something different. You say that you kind of going into entrepreneurship, real estate, business administration. Your father's an entrepreneur. Business wise, have I been able to be a decent example, good, bad, or indifferent, as far as starting a business from its inception, trying to grow it, work ethic? Have I been a decent, or have you been able to learn anything? Like what? Even your mom, your mom's your mom's a travel agent. What have you been able to learn or see from your parents as far as being an entrepreneur or building a business or something along those lines?
I learned that like it just when you own your own business, you can get you can work any hour of the day. Because like I've seen you work any day, like Saturdays during the week, you come home from work and you have another job to do. So it's just like it's like a lot of work that gets put into it, and it's your business. So if you're not gonna do it, nobody else will. Cause I seen mom be on her computer in the living room, just on Zoom calls, talking to people, trying to get stuff situated for like hours at a time. And I seen you pressing down the clothes and everything, getting everything together, coming in and out the house from the laundromat. So I just know that it takes a lot of, like, if I want to do something like on my own, I have to actually put some work in with it, because it's like a lot of work. Because even when me and Isaiah, we started a little drop shipping stuff, and we had to make our own LLC. So like I guess technically I'm already an entrepreneur in that aspect. I already have like a little business. So and being 18, I didn't know all that stuff had to go into getting like a business and stuff. It's a lot more that you would think, especially from the outside looking in, because people don't always give you the full rundown when you're trying to like start your own business, especially with the dropshipping and stuff. They never give you the full rundown. Nobody said we had to be business owners. They just told us to make our little store. So it's just looking at other people do and run their own business. Even with Coach Chris, you're looking at people run their own business, you can tell like it's a lot of work that gets put into it and a lot of hard hours. So it's something that you just gotta prepare yourself for.
And again, going back to consistency, you know, especially if you want to start your own business, that's your name behind that business. So good, bad, and indifferent. If anybody does business with Marcus, you know that bad news travels faster than good news. So if anything pops off, the negative is going to be the first thing that's put into the spotlight versus the positive. Okay, so how have you? This is first time you've been away from home. Excuse me, and having to deal hands on really with your personal finances. Now, granted, we started your checking account during COVID. You might have been 15, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
What has been what challenges have you ran into kind of having to handle your own personal finances being away from me and mom?
The only real difference from being at home, because when I was at home, I had my own car, I had to pay for my own gas, and if I want to get some food or do this, have fun, it's still my own money. So the really only difference is now I have to put extra money into travel and more money into food. So that's another thing that I have to watch out for, because I can't. When I was at home, I didn't have to worry about spending that much money on food or getting some from point A to point B, because mom could cook or I could go drive and give me some food, so it's not much money. But in Atlanta, I want to have fun, like go to parties, do whatever, but I have to find a way to get there. So if I don't have my little friends to get me there or somebody else to take me to get some food or get to a party, that's like a tank of gas just to get there, or a tank of gas just to get some meals. So that's something I have to put into account. So I feel like I could have done better first semester, but I didn't do horrible because I'm not completely broke yet. So I clearly did something right, or something not completely wrong.
Did you ever think about setting up a monthly budget?
No, I done thought about like with my little cash app, because I was doing sports betting for a little bit, like a couple of days. But I was gonna tell myself for every how much money I win, put that, because in Cash App it got a little savings thing like where you can just put it there. So I was gonna say for every how much money I make doing this, put it there, so just keep building until I get a certain amount of money.
How did that go?
What, sports betting?
Yeah,
It was going good.
you made a couple dollars.
I made more money than I lost.
Okay, well, I guess that's good. At the end of the day, I can't be mad at that. Okay. Um, what kind of I guess when your stuff is said and done, what kind of legacy do you want to leave um, as far as like family legacy, or like I said, Smiths has been, well, our Smith family, our name has been in Kansas City. I think Big Mama and Grandpa Smith came up here maybe in the 40s. So our Smith legacy has been alive and kicking since probably the mid 40s. What kind of legacy, what are you going to contribute to the Smith legacy? And again, it doesn't have to be here in Kansas City, because like I said, you sound like you're kind of interested maybe posting up in Atlanta or whatever, but what do you feel you have to contribute to the Smith legacy at the end of the day when it's said and done?
I don't know yet. I want to know the answer to that question too, but the only thing that I don't want to do, I just want it to be a positive effect. As long as it's
Right.
positive, that's all I
Right.
want it to be. But what actually is it gonna be? I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. I mean, do you feel, your cousin Darnell graduated from Clark?
Mhm.
I graduated from Clark. Your cousin Dr. Aaron Ellison graduated from Morehouse. Do you feel, cousin Chanel graduated from Fisk. RD graduated from Langston.
And Audrey graduated from Clark too.
Audrey graduated from Clark.
Mhm.
She's the one that set it off. So, do you feel any pressure, or do you use that as, can you see that as pressure, or can you see that as inspiration for you to go down to the Morehouse, knock it out, do a good job? I mean, where does you having family that graduated from HBCU, what part does that play in your matriculation to Morehouse?
I don't feel like it'll be any pressure because I feel like this situation has nothing to do with pressure. At the end of the day, I'm just going down to school and doing what I'm supposed to. So if anything, it'll be more inspiration because I seen that y'all did it. Y'all came from the same family that I came from, Kansas City, same area. So if y'all did it, then I can too. And once I got down there, I realized that for a fact. Like I didn't do the best that I could my first semester, but I know I could have done better just based off of how I did my work and like the shit. Like when I think back of like when I did my work, like when the song was supposed to be turned in, it could have been way better. I know I could have done better. It was just like a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like slow to it, but I feel like that's just because I get that little taste of freedom and just wanted to relax. Like I knew I didn't have to do something if I didn't want to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't want to get out of my dorm room, I don't have to see anybody if I don't want to.
No, that's true.
And that's one thing that I realized. And I still like that. I still like I can take advantage of that, but I feel like I can take advantage of it to a certain extent where I can still get my work done and still do what I need to do. So I don't find no pressure. I know what I can do because I've done it before. So it's like no real pressure at all, to be honest.
Okay. No, I get it. And like I said, man, we know what you're capable of doing. Me and your mom have spoke to you about that numerous times, and um, we're proud of you, and we expect great things, man. And like I said, you know we're in the consultant phase right now
Mm.
of parenthood. We don't have to be as hands on as we used to be. So, um, you know, you know, I'm always here if you need anything.
Mm.
Um, just a phone call away. So, yeah, man, keep up the good work, and don't be afraid to do your thing. So, um,
And I would like to thank you and my mom just for bringing me up the way y'all did and surrounding me in a good situation. Always having a roof over my head and being able to support what I want to do, whether it be getting me a game or playing sports. Y'all just always allowed me to do what I wanted to do. Let me play piano when I was younger, get a trumpet and everything. Y'all just allowed me to experiment with what I wanted to do for as long as I needed to until I knew that I wanted to keep doing it or just leave it behind. Y'all just allowed me to experiment myself. So, yeah, I just thank y'all for that.
oh, no doubt, man. Like I said, our job as parents is to, provide for you all your necessities.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, man, just as your father, just provide you options, man. That's that's why I'm here. You can do whatever it is you want to do. My job is just provide you options.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, just let you know you can. You have no ceiling. You have no limitations, man. So hopefully I've been able to provide that for you and show that to you. And you know, keep God first, and sky's the limit, man. I'm excited for what God has for you in the future.
Hmm.
And like I said, I'm here for whatever you need. So yeah. That being said, it's a nice little chop up, nice little combo. So other than that.
you, Derek, to just say your name, who you are.
Your name, who you are.
Good job.